Good Enough Podcast. I'm glad you're here.
All right. I am here with my friend, author, and speaker, Rebecca Wu. How are you today, Rebecca?
I'm good, Lindsay.
I've never
How are
called
you
you
doing?
Rebecca ever.
Never.
How are you?
Well, I do call you Lindsay, but you rarely call me Rebecca.
No, I don't know if I've ever said it. Well, thank you so much for being here. In addition to your accolades, well, first tell us the name of your book.
Book is called Moving In Forever.
And its main topic is
hospice care, grief, making memories, and taking care of family.
Yeah. And it's a children's book. Well, it's a family book, but it's a children's book.
It's a children's book. It has illustrations. It's based on a true story of our late college roommate, Carrie. And it chronicles how two nephews take care of Aunt Carrie while she's at home under hospice care.
Yeah. It's a powerful book from a tragedy that Becca and I both went through. So you did hint on there how we know each other. So we're college roommates. We went to college so long ago now. And we haven't spoken in forever. So it's we caught up briefly on the phone, and now we're jumping into a podcast. So that's exciting.
I know.
So tell me, when you first saw Unmessy Mom on Instagram and it was me, tell me what you thought.
Whoa, is that Lindsay?
And why?
And then I go, whoa. And you said yes. And I was shocked, not because I thought, like, never in my mind could I think it could be possible, but I was shocked because when we were roommates, I shared the bedroom with you. And Carrie shared it with our other roommate, Nancy.
Yes. You got the short end of the stick.
We got the bigger room.
We got the bigger room.
Totally. We got the bigger room. And it was messy, but I loved it because it was your mess. And I never thought, like, you need to be unmessy. And I also thought to myself, I didn't know that she wants to be unmessy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny too. I interviewed my mom for the first episode, and she was like, this is such a sudden change. And I'm like, I feel like I've been trying to do this for my entire adult life, but I think this is the first I've like talked about it with people. My mom used to really be into this with this organization guru, I don't know, called Fly Lady. And I like adopted Fly Lady stuff back then and some of her things. And so I'm like, but Mom, remember, like, I was trying to do Fly Lady with you when you were trying to do Fly Lady. So yeah, I've always been messy. What memories do you have of how our space looked in college in that dorm room?
Well, for all your listeners, it's important to tell them that we shared what's called a quad. So we had 4 roommates, 2 bedrooms, a dining room, a living room, and a kitchen. So it's basically an apartment.
Yeah.
So that they know, like, it's not like
just
tiny.
Bedroom. Yeah, it was pretty big.
Yeah. So our bedroom was huge. It had a closet and a bathroom attached. So it was an ensuite.
Yes.
I remember your bed being along the windows and mine was perpendicular. We were like head to head.
Yes.
And I remember that you made this comment because every morning I make my bed no matter what. And then you said, how do you do that? How do you do that every single morning? You're so tired. You went to sleep later than me. How do you get yourself to do that?
Yeah.
And I said, I remember telling this to you. I said, my mom used to tell me, even if the rest of your room is messy, as long as you make the bed and it looks somewhat neat, it'll feel like your room is no longer messy.
Oh, that's a good word. I'll tell you something really funny. I generally don't make my bed, and especially when Barrett was little, I never bothered to make his bed or make my bed or whatever. And then one of my many failed attempts to have a tidy house, I was like, I'm going to start making my bed every day. So Barrett saw me make my bed, which like I don't even like use a sheet. Like I just like spread the blanket out, put the pillows near the top. I count that as made. So anyways, so I'm making my bed, right? And Barrett goes, he's probably like 2 or 3. He goes, "Mommy, why are you making the blanket into a square?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's called making your bed." He literally didn't know the words for it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen Norma do." His only concept of bed making was at the babysitter's house. That she puts her blankets in a square, but mom and dad don't put the blankets in a square.
So is he used to the shape of a clump?
Yeah, he's like, why we do clump blankets. This is a clump blanket house. And then, it's funny, it shows how adaptable kids are that I just one day said, in our family, we would make the beds every morning. I rewrote their morning routines and added make the bed. And then they just started doing it. And Barrett even saw one day I didn't make my bed, and he and I were racing of who could get ready first. And he's like, "Well, it's not fair, Mom, because I make my bed every day because it's my routine, and you don't have a routine and you don't make your bed."
Got you.
He got me. He always gets me. All right, what else do? So that was good. You told me to make my bed. I probably decided to do it and did it twice and then never again.
You did it twice. You did it twice in succession.
All right, what else?
I remember, like, I remember you being sort of like Hansel and Gretel. Like you just left a trail in case you need to.
I still do that.
In case you need to go back.
If I can't find the door, just follow the trail.
Yeah, because we only had 2, sometimes 3, if you went out Carrie's door.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when you walk in, literally through the kitchen, you would drop your bag, which is huge and red. And it's like a ski bag or like a surf bag. It's just huge. And then you would drop more things as you're walking through the kitchen, grabbing something to drink. And then you had your balsamic vinegar that you drink out of. You'll drink out of it and then walk toward the dining room, which we had a table with the tablecloth, and then drop off the cup of water, carry the balsamic vinegar. You probably taken off whatever jacket you have, and it's not on a chair. No. It's probably on the floor. You've kicked off your shoes at this point, and then you're going to our living room. And then you like look out the window, you leave the vinegar on top of the radiator, and you go sit on the sofa and I don't know, read or do whatever you're doing. And then you'll eventually make your way to our room. And if you don't like your outfit, it's too hot because you're always hot.
Uh-huh. Well, that radiator right by the bed was very powerful.
Yes. So you started taking off clothes and leaving them on the floor around the floor area where we had. So we both had 2 desks against the wall. And you would proceed to maybe find something different to wear, likely something you said people in Florida wear because you surf all the time and it's so hot, you wear next to nothing.
Yeah, that's right. In Florida, you don't have to wear a lot of clothes.
Right. And then I grew up in Chicago, so I wore lots of things all the time. So there would be a sweater.
Yeah. I'm going to pause you. Do you remember what I used to say was the largest shelf in the house?
What was the largest shelf in the house?
The floor. It's not the floor. Yeah. It's just the largest shelf in the house.
It is the largest shelf in the house.
Okay.
So that's what I remember.
Do you remember, I didn't remember this until we just started this conversation, the Krispy Kreme boxes.
Oh. Is there a story to this, or do I remember you bringing in Krispy Kreme boxes?
So I got it in my head that I was going to save the Krispy Kreme boxes. And then, like, because we were, like, always getting Krispy Kremes, it was, like, a whole thing. Then I was going to, like, cut the tops off and, like, cover, like, I'm going to have this, like, Krispy Kreme wall. Like, it was this, like, I'm going to make a craft out of these boxes. So I started saving the donut boxes on that bookshelf that was right by our like dining room table. So it was like all of Carrie's beautiful books and then like Lindsay's garbage donut boxes. And Carrie was like, "Books are like friends. You can't get rid of them." And I'm like, but also my donut boxes are like friends now. I have to keep them because in my mind, I'm going to turn them into some craft. And then, of course, I didn't.
Yes.
Like, I eventually just threw them away once I was like, these are not going to be a craft on the wall.
Yes. I don't remember that exact story, but I remember Krispy Kreme boxes.
Yes, you probably repressed.
I'm not sure if I knew you, and I'm not sure if I knew your intent.
I probably didn't say. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. So that lays some of the foundation for college. So now, jumping forward to adults, I don't know. You should come down and visit. You haven't seen my house. What do you think my house is like, or like, how do you think maybe my becoming a mom plays into this?
Well, I remember when your family came to visit in college.
Oh, tell me about that. I don't remember.
Like your sisters, I remember your sisters.
Mm-hmm. And my friend Stacy came that year too, I think.
Yes. And I remember that they seemed to put things away.
My sisters?
Yeah. But I wasn't sure if that's because they're in someone else's space.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, they don't put stuff away.
Or if like, oh, is it just Lindsay that puts things everywhere? And I didn't know. So I wasn't sure, like, if you grew up surrounded by other messy people.
I did.
But I do remember you told me that this is going to be funny. You're like, because we shared a bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like cleaning it. And I was like scrubbing the toilet and all this stuff. You're like, Becca. I'm like, what? Can you teach me how to do this? Does it have to, like, why isn't it blue? How come you're not using the blue thing? I was like, what are you saying? He's like, the toilet water, like in the toilet bowl, when it's done and clean, it's supposed to be blue.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I'm like, and I go, oh, what? It doesn't have to be if you don't use the blue stuff. And then you said, well, we always had someone come in and clean the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would know when it's done because the toilet bowl water is blue.
It was. That's hilarious.
I go, oh. And that's when I kind of realized maybe that's why Lindsay's messy. No, like maybe that's why Lindsay's messy. Like she didn't do that part. And then she likely had a big house. So she had like a lot of room to lay stuff around. So when you became a mom, I actually didn't think about messiness at all. Because when I think about you, that's not the first thing I think of. Like the attribute of Lindsay is that she's messy. When I think about you, the attribute of Lindsay is she's super smart and very intelligent.
Oh, that's nice.
And she's very good at debating and playing Mafia. And as messy as she is, like her mind is very clear and she can like make arguments and thoughts and make it very coherent and very persuasive. And she always had, and you always do, have a very charismatic personality. So when you became a mom, I was like, oh my goodness, this kid is going to have so much fun. And this kid is going to be super smart. And because you're married to Eric, he's going to be super sporty too.
That's right.
And they're going to learn all things that have to do with water. And likely this child will not be clothed much.
No, he's not clothed much. That's true. The water stuff, we don't live in Florida, so that hasn't really transferred down. But he's a very good dancer, and that is 100% my side, to be clear. Also, you know what his number one chore he does to earn extra stickers towards TV time?
What is it?
Clean the toilets. I still have it outsourced, but now it's just outsourced to a 6-year-old, so.
Hey. And he's free.
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, he's not free. I have to give him a sticker, and then it translates.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. You do. He does earn something.
He does. He earns a sticker, and 10 stickers equals 1 TV token, which equals 10 minutes. So essentially, he gets 1 minute of TV per toilet he cleans.
Yes.
Well, I should mention the college we went to was heavy in economics, and you and I both took economics classes. You took more, so it's very kind to say I'm smart because you're incredibly smart. And so I've created an entire economy in my house around chores, sticker charts, blue tokens, and yellow tokens. And the yellow tokens,
Wow.
are worth 20 minutes of TV or 10 minutes of Switch, his little Nintendo thing. So yeah, we have a whole economy of supply and demand and wages in our house.
Totally. And different types of, well, I mean, only two types of currency, one type of currency. Token exchange for stickers exchange for TV time.
All right, well, our time is coming to an end. Are there any questions that you want to ask me or anything you want to add before we wrap up?
Tell me how it felt the first day you unmessied or decluttered.
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I've, been decluttering for forever. I would say one thing doesn't exactly answer your question, but I recently, and I have a post on my Instagram about this, finished, it's about 92% done, decluttering what became our indoor garage. So we had a really hard couple years, and the bonus room just became the dump it in there and deal with it later because I have neither the emotional energy nor the time, and just dump it in there. So it just was unusable in a stressful space. And it had been a usable space, but it just was the bottom priority. Anyways, I just feel so good about how much better it looks because it's gone from like a stressy space to a happy space. And it didn't take that long. Like I started in like October and it was slow going because I was doing 85 other things. I was building out the website, the podcast, the Instagram, decided to try to get rid of half my clothes. And so it's just a good reminder that like you're delaying so much gratification. It's not going to take you that long. It's not going to be that hard. You just have to do it and you'll just be so much happier. So just get your sneakers on and get going.
Yay. Thank you. With that inspiration, I will go declutter a closet.
Well, because we'll have to have you back on and you can tell us about living in a very small space in Hong Kong and how you maximized your space and your vertical space when you were in a tiny apartment in Hong Kong, because that's how Hong Kong is. So you'll have to tell us about that on a future podcast.
Love to.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Love you. Bye.
Thanks once again to our guest, Rebecca Wu. You can find her on Instagram under Moving In Forever. She is based out of the Chicago area. Thanks for listening.